Today we're going to be dividing polynomials using synthetic division. Synthetic division is a shortcut, but it only works if your divisors are linear. For long division, it doesn't matter if your divisors are linear. You can have x squareds, you can have x cubes, but for synthetic division, you must remember that your divisors must be linear. And whenever I say linear, I'm talking about x plus or minus some number. Let's take a look at example 1. If I had x to the fourth minus 10x squared minus 2x plus 4 all divided by x plus 3, and I wanted to use synthetic division, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to see if there's any values that are missing. I can see that I don't have an x cubed, so I know that I have 0x cubed. Whenever you're working with synthetic division or long division, you always want to make sure that everything is taken care of. The x to the fourth, the x cubed, the x squared, the x, and the constant. Now, when we start synthetic division, what you're going to do is you're going to draw a long L, and you're going to write the coefficients for every single term in your dividend. So we have 1x to the fourth, I will put a 1. I have 0x cubed, so I'm going to put a 0. I have a negative 10x squared, so I'm going to put a negative 10. I have a negative 2x, so I'm going to put a negative 2. And I have a positive 4, so I'm going to write a positive 4. Now, what you're dividing by isn't going to be that x plus 3. What you're going to actually divide by is the solution for x. So you set x plus 3 equal to 0. You solve for x, you get a negative 3. So we're going to put a negative 3 on the outside. That's going to be our divisor. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring down our first term. It's a 1. We're going to get that negative 3. We're going to multiply it times our 1, and I'm going to get a negative 3. We're going to combine 0 and negative 3. We get a negative 3. We're going to multiply negative 3 times negative 3, gives us a positive 9. We're going to combine negative 10 and 9, and we get a negative 1. So I multiply negative 3 and a negative 1. It gives me a positive 3. A negative 2 and a positive 3 give me a positive 1. I'm going to multiply my negative 3 times my positive 1. I get a negative 3. I'm going to combine 4 minus 3 gives me a positive 1. After I've done this, everything at the bottom is going to give me what my answer is. The very, very last number that I get is always going to be my remainder. The second to the last one is going to be my constant. And then I'm going to go in ascending order from there. I'm going to go to my x, then my x squared, and then my x cubed. So my quotient is going to be 1x cubed minus 3x squared minus x plus 1. And then remember, whenever we want to write our remainder, we look at it. If it's positive, we're going to put a plus sign. We put the remainder over our divisor. Our divisor is that x plus 3. So I have 1 over x plus 3. And that is my answer. Let's take a look at example 2. I have x squared plus 3x minus 41 all divided by x minus 5. If I want to do synthetic division, I'm going to draw that long L, and I'm going to write every single coefficient. Well, I have 1x squared, a positive 3x, and a negative 41. And my divisor, x minus 5, I'm going to set that equal to 0, solve for 5. I'm going to end up dividing by a positive 5. You bring down that first term, it's a 1. You multiply 5 times 1, you end up with a 5. You combine, 3 plus 5 gives me 8. I'm going to multiply 5 times 8 gives me 40. Negative 41 plus 40 gives me a negative 1. And then I have my remainder. I have my constant. And then I have my x. So my answer is going to be x plus 8. Since my remainder is negative, we're going to put minus 1 over my divisor. And remember, the divisor is the x minus 5 that's in the denominator. So 1 over x minus 5. So my answer is x plus 8 minus 1 over x minus 5. Let's take a look at example 2. For example 2, I'm going to do the same thing, but I notice I have an x squared missing, so I know I'm going to have to insert a 0x squared, and I'm also missing an x, so I'm going to have to insert a 0x. So whenever I write my long L, I'm going to write my coefficients. I have 1x cubed, I have 0x squared, I have 0x, and I have a negative 27. And then my divisor is going to give me the number that's on the outside. X minus 3 equal to 0. Solve for x. I get a positive 3, so I'm going to be dividing by a positive 3. I dropped down my first number, which was a 1. I multiply 3 times 1. It's going to give me a 3. 0 plus 3 gives me 3. I multiply 3 times 3 gives me 9. I combine 0 and 9. I get a 9. I multiply 3 times 9, and it gives me a 27. Negative 27 plus 27 gives me 0. 0 is my remainder. 9 is my constant. And then I have my x, and I have my x squared. Now, when you get a remainder of 0, then that means that's a perfect factor of x cubed minus 27. So I have x squared plus 3x plus 9. And since there is no remainder, that is my answer. Thanks for watching as we divided polynomials using synthetic division.